So today we're going to be reviewing with you the all-new 2025 Lexus TX350. This one here specifically is the 6-passenger executive package, and I'm going to be going through everything here with you today. My name is Brendan Maslin. I'm the General Sales Manager here at Pkwy Nissan of Stony Creek. Let's check it out. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, check us out at Pkwy Nissan and click the link at the bottom of the description for your YouTube-only incentive and promotion, and let's get a conversation started. So looking here at the front of the new 2025 Lexus TX, at our dealership here we sell the Nissan Pathfinder, and we've been in a lot of vehicles of this size. The thing that I think Lexus has done a marvelous job on this particular model is the refinement. The one thing that caught me off guard after acquiring this vehicle that only has just under 800 kilometers on it is how quiet a vehicle of this size could be driving down the highway, whether it be doing 120 kilometers an hour or 70 miles an hour. I was quite impressed. It is a 4-cylinder under the hood. It's a 4-cylinder turbo. It produces 275 horsepower and approximately 255 pound-feet of torque. It's quite impressive numbers, and it delivers strong fuel economy numbers for a vehicle, again, of this size. In Canada here, I've averaged a combined fuel economy of 10.6 liters per 100 kilometers. And if I compare that to something that we sell with a naturally aspirated V6, it would be in that 12 to 12.5 liters per 100 kilometers. So it's very well respectable for a vehicle, again, of this size to get that kind of fuel economy out of this vehicle. When I mention refinement and how quiet it is, I think a big thing the designers have done, if you look at their grille on the front of the vehicle, they've kept a lot of flat and straight lines through the vehicle. There's not a lot of different things that could create too much airflow that would also then give you more noise coming through that cabin. So it's, again, a big part of that front end of the vehicle, the way that looks with that grille. Beautiful front end and the way it's designed here. It's got 360 camera, all the safety features. One thing looking at the front of the vehicle, you can definitely see they've modernized the whole front end, especially with this grille. They've gotten away from the honeycomb look, which some vehicles still have in this day. But in doing so, I believe that's one of the reasons why it's made the cabin that much quieter inside the vehicle. Let us know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you love or do you hate the new design? I know we've seen many manufacturers go through changes in the simplicity of just changing out a grille, and people either love or hate because something is new. Let us know what you guys think of this in particular. Looking at the front end here, the headlights, they are LED, and it has a beautiful signal and indicator as you're driving. One thing that I've grown to love with this vehicle that I cannot now live without, that this vehicle does have, is it has headlight washers built into the vehicle. When you turn on the windshield wipers, these little doors open up down below, and it just pops open and cleans these off. It's a nice thing, and it's a subtle little difference maker in a vehicle when you get into that premium segment. Down below here, we have our LED fog lights. We have our parking sensors, and this vehicle, like many in this class, does have a frontal camera for knowing exactly where you are when you're going to be parking. It has the side view cameras along the sides and then also on the rear, which we'll get into a little bit later on as well with you. Let's come to the driver's side and let's see what that's about. In 2025, many of the mainstream brands or luxury brands offer your standard safety features. With this Lexus TX here, it does offer that and some. And one thing I want to talk about here is the other day I was sitting in this vehicle in drive at a red light, and traffic was passing by coming from opposite directions. There's a little sensor on these Lexus TX models here that indicates if you weren't paying attention, possibly at a 4-way intersection or even a busy cross section. This indicates vehicles coming in motion from either side, whether it be from the passenger side, whether it be from the driver's side. I think it's a great thing Lexus has done. And this is just something now we are seeing well executed in this particular model that I'm sure years down the road, we'll start to see that trickle down into some of the other brands or more mainstream safety features coming in or as time progresses here. Looking down the side here, I'm a huge fan of these tires. So on the executive package, specifically like this one here, it comes with 22-inch wheels. I think they're a game changer. Beautiful gun metallic finish, Comes with a gorgeous Continental tire right from the factory. What do you guys think? We've seen some vehicles go to a more black finish or a matte finish. I love these ones here. They have a bit of a satin, semi-gloss, carbon look to them. I think it looks good, especially in the black paint here that we have on this one here. It is a metallic, and I think it just really gives that, that stance that somebody would want for a vehicle like this. Coming down the side, I do appreciate how Lexus has kept with the body moldings the same color as the actual body of the car. We see some manufacturers going to a black plastic, and I think it just kind of takes away from that elegant look. So I think it's a beautiful thing that Lexus has done to this one here specifically. Looking down the side here, we have our blind spot monitoring system. We have all of our safety features built into the mirror and this beautiful little chrome accent. I think that looks really nice and elegant. Looking at the side here, the thing that I was puzzled with, maybe you guys can help us with this, the Lexus doors don't actually open up. So for passengers that have got into this vehicle that have never been in one before, they found it a little bit confusing. I'm not sure, maybe you guys can let us know in the comments below as to why Lexus did this. There has to be a reason behind it. And what that is simply you just have to push the little black button at the back here to actually access and open the actual door. The actual handle itself does not move. So I'm not sure as to why they did that. I am sure that there's a reasoning as to why, and whether it's a safety feature, if it's something to do with theft. I'm not sure. Please drop a comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts as to why, and we'll learn something from it ourselves. Coming down the side here, I love how it's all blacked out. I'm not sure why they've done the chrome along the top. We see some manufacturers going to a blacked out look up top. Maybe it's wanting to break up some of that black a little bit. I'm not sure. But I think overall, aesthetically, I think they've done a marvelous job on the way this vehicle looks at first glance. So opening the vehicle up here, it does say inside and the back here, premium fuel recommended. I've been on some of the Lexus forums just for vehicles like this, not only just the TX, and some say it's definitely more of a recommendation than it is an actual requirement. For ourselves here, we've always put premium fuel in these types of vehicles, but I'm curious as to what the difference is. I know it's for obviously that extra bit of horsepower and for the way the engine is tuned, but I'm not sure for someone buying a vehicle like this, if they would run it typically with premium fuel or with regular. The one thing I just want to point out, we see some vehicles, even on smaller subcompact mainstream brands, they've gone to a capless fuel system. But this one here, we do have the traditional cap on here. Would have liked to seen a capless fuel door for that. Just makes it easy when your hands are busy or gunky at the gas station. Just makes it more of a convenience thing. Here we are at the rear of the vehicle. I love what they've done at the rear end. It almost reminds me of the new Lexus GX. I love how it's boxy and it's more squared off. The front of the car is a little bit more oval-like. But I do really love and appreciate the way this is finished off at the back. I love this beautiful light that comes across the back, especially in the evening or at nighttime. When all the lights are on, it comes across in full LED across the back. I think it really just is a benchmark and staple for a vehicle like this. I love how it has that Lexus badge across the rear. Love what they've done with that. And I think overall, it just has a beautiful look on the road. I like the fact that they've hidden all the muffler and all the pipes down below. And then of course, down in the very back here, you've got your rear parking assist and your backup camera as well for backing into those heavily congested parking spots. There might be some confusion with the 350. I know with most models, most makes and models, that 350 sometimes could indicate the engine being a 3.5. Not the case in this particular model. I know that there's been some confusion with that, but it is a 4-cylinder turbo that comes in this, and it's a 2.5. Some might wonder, well, why didn't they call it a TX350? And if there was a V6, then go to a 350. That I cannot answer, but it is indeed a 4-cylinder. Now, the all-wheel drive, it is full-time. It does come on every model of TX, and we haven't seen any winter yet here in Canada. But from what I've heard, the all-wheel drive with this particular model, it is superb and it'll get you through any hectic winter or any weather that you would not prepare for otherwise. Okay, so here we are in the rear of the vehicle. We have the liftgate fully open. It is adjustable. If you live in a spot where you are possibly with underground parking and you need a little bit more space, you can adjust this. Or depending on like your height, you can definitely adjust where you want this to fully open to. So looking in the rear here, I'm quite impressed with, there is a good amount of space from that third row. all the way to the rear in comparison to some vehicles that do offer a third row. It's a little bit tighter, but I do appreciate some of the things in convenience that make it easy. If I was loading something into the rear of the vehicle right now, not having to go inside to drop these seats. They do drop with just the simple flick of just a button down below here. Just showing here, it's a beautiful feature that if you don't have any obstructions in that second row, that third row goes down with just the push of a button. You don't have to do anything else. There's no levers or anything. But again, you just have to make sure that second row is clear for the seats to drop down. That's on us to make sure that that's there. But as you can see, tons of space inside. The floor is nice and high. Easy if you're pulling something in from a shopping cart, hockey bags, or any kind of sporting gear. It's at waist height, easy getting stuff into the back of the vehicle. Tons of space, lots of height as well. A lot of the vehicles in this particular segment come with a gray headliner. I'm not a big fan of gray, and what I mean by that is like a light gray. In this particular case here, it's blacked out. It just gives that very elegant, sporty look to it. And I think they've done an awesome job in the overall design and how it feels inside. As we get inside, I want to really show and put emphasis on what they've done with the interior, because it has a two-tone look to it, where a lot of the seats are all blacked out, and then we've got like a very cinnamon espresso brown look inside, and it just really breaks it up. Let's hop inside, let's take a look at it and see what you think. So sitting in the vehicle, first impressions, I'm very impressed, and this is the difference maker and why this vehicle is truly unique and arguably comes with a higher price point. You're met with these beautiful finishes. They have all these different lines throughout the dash, throughout the actual center console, and then the technology is this next level. If we start over on the left-hand side and work our way to the right, the first thing I want to point out is I love what they've done with this door handle down below. There's a little button down below, and it's obviously the opposite of the outside. You just push a little button here, pops the door open, and it makes that ease getting in and out. There's no door handles or anything else. I love how they've designed that. Looking over on the left-hand side here, it does come with the Mark Levinson audio speaker system in this. Personally, being in the automotive space for the past 19 years, I've been a big fan of Bose. Bose has had contracts with Nissan for many, many years. Listening to the Mark Levinson speakers in this particular model and spec have blown me away as far as the acoustics for the music that I listen to in this particular model. I'm not sure that Bose can actually get to the level on this particular package or spec that comes with this vehicle. I'm curious, let us know what you guys think. Going through on the left-hand side here, we've got all of our little switches here for the rear door liftgate. We've got our locking gas cap that we can control. We've got three, not just two, we've got three different settings for the driver inside. That's a nice feature. Of course, the headlights are automatic. It does have this really interesting feature that sits just above the steering wheel. And what I've noticed while driving this particular model is that if my eyes are not looking straight ahead, if I was engaging in any kind of conversation, as we know we shouldn't be with the passenger, while we're driving, the vehicle will beep, chime, and send you a little alert on the big screen down below, which is gorgeous, by the way, to remind you to keep your eyes on the road. I think it's, again, a next level safety feature that we're seeing in a lot of these premium vehicles that we haven't yet seen flow down into the more mainstream brands or less expensive vehicles, but I'm sure in due time we will see that happen as well. Looking at the steering wheel, I love that in this vehicle, although it's a big family expedition vehicle, that they have put paddle shifters in here for those that want to have a little bit more sporty, aggressive driving experience. I love the fact that you can actually have that, whether you want to get into the twisties or the canyons or the hills. This will allow you to have a little bit of fun while you've got your family in the back. Going through it, beautiful feeling steering wheel. I love the size of it, not too big. I think they've done a nice job to make sure that the feeling of it fits exactly with how the experience is inside this vehicle. The seat, I love it. One thing I want to point out to you is these gorgeous, as I said, I would describe them as an espresso or a cinnamon brown interior. I love how they've done that. It's on the door panels, and we see it through and through to the vehicle all the way to the rear. I think it just really breaks up that difference in between. It has leather inserts in the middle, and it has this nice suede material on the outside, and then also up on the dashboard here as well in the black finish. It really breaks it up, and it just truly adds to the ambiance. You'll see here also at the very top here a little bit of that brown accent trim at the top, and it just creates a whole different experience. I've always been a fan of interiors that break up from the black, especially when you get into a big vehicle like this. If it were all black, it's not a negative thing, but it doesn't add to the experience. I'm a big fan of vehicles that offer bright interiors, red interiors, and just give a whole different ambiance to that vehicle in the way it makes you feel, the emotions that come with that once sitting inside the vehicle, and I think they've done a good job here. As we look at the actual infotainment or entertainment system on the vehicle, I love it's a 14-inch display unit, as you would expect it to do in comparisons to like a computer or an iPad. Simple touches with the buttons, easy to navigate, getting through everything. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course. It works very well, and it does have wireless charging capabilities down below. And I think it's a great feature that Lexus has done, is they've put a little system in place here to make sure that your phone down below won't be sliding around or moving around with these little barriers that they've put in place through their design. As we look at the very bottom of the vehicle here, we have our camera system view where it gives us an around view camera, and it actually rotates a 360, and it makes the car look almost invisible, and you can actually move around where you actually want the camera to look at. So if you're parking, if you're in a heavily congested area, underground parking, we know how that gets at times. This will show you everything that's around you to make sure that you don't bump anything or end up getting a flat tire from something that you couldn't see otherwise. You'll see at the very bottom here, everything now has gone to USB-C. So we've got 3 ports for that, along with ports here in the rear of the vehicle. And I think it's a nice design, a nice finish here, because there's not too much going on. Everything is controlled through that beautiful screen up top. And I think, again, good job on that with Lexus. Looking at the gear shifts here, this is the one thing that I wouldn't say is a negative, but I would say it took a little bit of time to understand how to get the vehicle into reverse. Typically, you'd pull back on that gear shifter, you go into reverse, neutral, or drive. In this particular case, to get into reverse, you have to pull the gear shift back and then move it forward. On all of the Lexus models, I'm sure this is a common thing, but let us know again in the comments below. Do you like what Lexus has done on the newer models, where the gear shifts have gone to this electronic gear shifting modes? I can get on board with a lot of this stuff, but sometimes to a new driver, for someone that's hopping into this vehicle for the very first time, as we know, it's all about the experience and how someone's emotions come out in experiencing that new vehicle. I'm not sure if this simple little thing could sway somebody to not buy this car, but you let us know in the comments below. What do you think of it? Would you buy this vehicle, or would it be something that stops you from buying it? Down below here, we have our auto on off feature. We have our parking hold assist if you're going through the drive-through. We have our hill descent control. I love this feature. For where I live right now and some of the different driving that I do, getting into certain driveways, the hill descent feature helps immensely if you're parking or if you're visiting somebody that lives on a sharp grade. This is something that definitely comes in handy. Looking at the center console here, I love what they've done. It makes it easy. It is a little confusing at first, but once you get it, not a big deal. It's a butterfly opening center console. I love how thick the center console is. So if I'm sitting here, and if I have my passenger beside me, lots of space. We're not fighting over space on that armrest. And we can both sit here in peace and comfortability and share that amongst the two of us. But lots of space down below. We've got about 1.5 feet of depth. Lots of belongings, whether it be your purse, even probably fit an iPad down here. Lots of cords, cables, snacks, whatever you have it. Easy to get down below. I love it up here, all the way from the front of the vehicle to the rear of the vehicle. It has that beautiful black headliner, and we're going to open up that headliner right now in privacy screen to take on the experience of this gorgeous, magnificent, huge panoramic moonroof. It's insane how big this thing is. So you guys are gonna have to come check it out. Let's hop into the second row and let's experience what it's like sitting in the second row of this new TX350. So here we are sitting in the second row now of this gorgeous TX350. I must say, I'm about 6 foot and I can sit here quite comfortably in this gorgeous captain's chair. And I just want to point out a few things that I really like about sitting in here. So I like how it almost feels like a stadium feel, stadium seating finish, where I'm actually looking, and I'm not looking straight through in the same line here as the driver. It feels like I'm sitting slightly above them. I've got a nice clear view looking out to that frontal point here of vision. I know some people struggle with motion sickness, and I believe this is something that obviously would help them with that. Looking over though, I love the fact that the windows go all the way down. I love the fact that if you have passengers in the rear that don't want that sun coming through on a hot July summer, we've got those gorgeous sunshades. Or if you have children or babies that are in the back that obviously be affected, we don't want that. This obviously helps with that too. We've got these gorgeous fan vents up above to keep that nice cold, cool air and heat coming down in the case that we need that. Again, this awesome door handle on here, I think it's a great thing. Makes it easy getting in and out, not having to fidget to find where everything is. You've got all your adjustments for the window down below here as well. And I like the fact that you can unlock or lock this door from here as well at that point. So if you have children in the rear and you want to lock them out from playing with the door handles, you can do so as well, right from the very back. Looking down below here, we've got all of our controls for the rear of the vehicle. We've got our heated and cooled seats for the second row, which is amazing. A lot of vehicles, for whatever reason, usually just offer the cooled seats in the driver and passenger first row of seating. It's not very often when we see that happening in the second row. So I think that's a great feature to be able to offer for your passengers or adults that sit in the second row. If we're going to the golf course, that's an awesome thing to be able to share with them in the experience of driving to and from. Down below, we've got our USB-C plugins for all of the new iPhones or Android users. And then you'll see outfitted from the factory, we've got this WeatherTech TX floor liner through the vehicle, making sure that if there's anything to come into the vehicle, whether it be rain, snow, or slush coming in, that it keeps it contained within the floor mats and making sure that we're not going to damage the outside carpet beyond that. Again, what do you guys think of this interior here? The one thing that threw me off getting in the vehicle right away was this armrest. You can't just go back down with it. You have to kind of reset it, take it all the way back up, bring it down, and then bring it to the spot where you want it to finish. A little bit interesting setup. I have seen older cars that did this. I wasn't sure that new vehicles still did it. I'm definitely not against it. Just a little bit of getting used to and a little bit of muscle memory, if you will, for the older cars before this that had the same feature and how the armrest worked. There is a center console here to get into the third row that is removable, that you don't have to actually move these seats forward if you wanted passengers to get into the rear. But again, overall, beautiful design, simple. And I love how the cup holders down below, they're not too small, not too big, but how it will hold everything and they slide and move back and forth. There are these massive door handle mat pockets as well that you could I'm sure get a massive Yeti or thermos mug to go in there for beverages along the road trip, but lots of space in here to do so as well. Let's get into the third row and get our final thoughts on this vehicle. So here we are, we're sitting in the third row, and there's a few things that I must say I absolutely love about this. The first thing is how it feels. Typically when you get into the third row of a vehicle like this, it's a little bit more crammed, and I feel like there's been a bit of a trade-off here. And the trade-off is that when you get into a vehicle like this, they're usually a 7-passenger or possibly even an 8. And the way they do that is they would have a bench seat for that second row, as opposed to the captain's chairs in this particular vehicle. And then they'd have 3 seats in the back, but they are very crammed. Even if you had 2 people back there, the way it sits. What they've done here is they've traded off the space to give the people sitting in that third row the same luxury and comfortability that you'd get really in the second row. And what I mean by that is, I love the fact that we have a power seat for the rear. So we can actually recline, we can bring it up. This definitely just adds to, if I had to go sit in the back of the vehicle, it makes me feel like I'm getting the same luxury treatments as anybody else in the second or first row. The USB-C, it sits up, so it's right there. I don't have to fumble or look for it. Sometimes in the bottom of a console here, it's sitting right here. So if I had my cables, I would just plug it right in and I'd be perfectly fine with those functionalities to make sure I'm comfortable as well. I think they've done a great job. Some people may argue that the 6-passenger, why would they buy this? Why wouldn't you just buy the 7? And there's a good point for that. If you had that extra person, But for a family of 3 or 4 that wants to bring the grandparents along or a couple friends along, I think the 6-passenger arguably is the right answer. I think this for most people will meet their needs much more often than the odd time that they'd have to either A, bring another vehicle along or just need that 7 or 8 passenger. But again, let us know your comments down below. Would you buy a 6 like this, or would you opt to get that 7-passenger in this particular model of the TX350? Personally, myself, I'd be looking at this one here the way it's equipped. I have to say, like, just getting in the vehicle, like sitting in the vehicle here in the rear, it's actually impressed me. I haven't actually sat in the 3rd row until right now. The way everything's laid out, this beautiful armrest, I'm very comfortable. I can't argue otherwise. I was actually expecting to have less space and that I'd be saying something unfortunately not favorable about the 3rd row here, but I'm quite impressed. I'd be able to have ice cream here in the back and be happy and not throw a tantrum. So getting out of the vehicle and fully experiencing this, having driven it now for a few days, I must say I'm very impressed. In my final thoughts, I'd have to give this a definite thumbs up on the new 25 TX. A few things and honorable mentions I want to talk about with this vehicle is, although it does come with a heftier price tag for someone looking for a 6 or 7 passenger vehicle, this vehicle spec'd out the way it is sits around $81,000, plus of course your applicable taxes, freight, and delivery that you'd pay on a new vehicle in Canada, bringing the vehicle out to around about $84,000 before your taxes. Some may say that's a lot of money when in Canada you can get a 7 or 8 passenger mid-sized mainstream brand vehicle like the Nissan Pathfinder, the Honda Pilot, or the Toyota Highlander for in that $60,000 to $65,000. Now, is this vehicle worth that much more? To be determined, but let us know your thoughts. The one thing and few things that I want to talk about here are this vehicle is incredibly quiet. It's actually running right now, and my microphone may not pick up all of that audio, but I actually had to ask my cameraman, is this vehicle running right now? I'm actually quite surprised. I thought it was in shut-off mode, but it goes to show you with the technology of the sound deadening and all the extra features and equipment that Lexus has put into this to make sure it's a very sound deadened cabin, not only on the inside of the vehicle, but also that's definitely reflective now on the outside. Now the fuel economy on this is respectable. It is a little bit better than what you'd see out of a V6 engine or a naturally aspirated V6 engine that a lot of the manufacturers are still using in a vehicle of this size. Between that, the luxury comforts, the incredible resale value, the features, the technology, the fuel economy are undeniable things that you have to look at when looking for your next vehicle of this size. Let us know in the comments below. Would you buy a TX350, or would you look at something a little bit different on the luxury side, or would you look at something more mainstream? Thanks again, guys, for checking out our video here. Again, I'm Brendan Maslin. If you can please, at the very bottom here, it would help us immensely. Hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to check us out on the next video. See you soon.